I'm not a stock trader, but take a look at Apple stock and you tell me what in the wild world of sports is going on here. I'm also not a volume trader, but the volume on Apple stock, it's trading at, I don't know, $15 a share back in 2007. Okay, so this is a big, there's something wrong here. So if you're an Apple stock, now I know there's the logarithmic charting techniques that you can do on stocks. Guess how much Apple's trading at right now? How about a, a buck, $131 a share? This is the famous company that does the Chinese manufactured whatever, the hardware. I'm also not a big fundamentalist, but I must say that fundamentally speaking, China is kind of going forward. Could be a somewhat people let the throttle back off. You're going to ask Apple to move back to the United States. It's going to affect their stock. These are fundamental, school taught supply and demand issues. Any fundamental trade like this, stocks are definitely, I suppose, a real thing. Is the dollar versus the yen a real thing? I don't know. I mean, it's like just a cross rate, but boy, Apple stock. So also, Bitcoin is right at the climax. My monthly cycles. So you can kind of just see cycles. You don't need to do a big cycle course to see these things. You don't need to sell some course in cycles, but so you know, you could, I guess, if you're into that stuff. I would start right now with your cycle course book, seminars, mentorship, and tell people, you see this mountain peak here. I'm just using this one that's obvious. This is the closing prices. This white line. The wicks are a little bit insane, and always the wick trade that's a trade onto its own, just to trade the wick. So if you just like in this, I guess I'll just jump right into what I think. I'm not gonna try to make it sound like something it's not, but this double top here on this monthly Bitcoin is a supply demand zone, trade block, you name it. Whatever you want to say. This here, and we've seen this a million times, this is also one of those situations where when the price, all right, I just got done watching an ICT video, so I'm trying to recover from that a little bit. But this Bitcoin thing, Bitcoin here is at 19, almost 20, which in relationship to psychology of price, typically like that would be $2,000 on gold. And the auction thing, which is what I believe the markets are doing, is it's a real market. It's like people yelling price at each other. Look at Apple stock. I mean, Apple stock right now on the chart is right here. Now, do you really think this is just, I swear to God, this is $15 a share in Apple. I'm just using this because I just looked at the chart. I'm just going to import it. This is also gold, say at, I don't know, 280 an ounce. You take off. You have one chance to board the train. You got one pullback if you trade at the market, which means you trade at the end of the day. So if this was a daily chart for the no nonsense system, which for me, no nonsense trading is saying I trade the daily chart and I look for signals on my indicators that I built. What if my indicator is called a pullback? The only place to board this Bitcoin train on the monthly is here and here. If you told somebody, show me a valley, show me all the valleys on here. I mean, this is my trading course, okay? This is free. day one, Bitcoin, a pure market of just wow. Here's the cycle course, kids. Here's a high. Here's a high. We estimate a high over here. Now, this doesn't always happen because she could pull back to here. And I'm just going to call it her because it's so, fickle. But there is a triple top here on the monthly closing prices we could use as a gauge of making this landing. If we land here, I'm sure people are buying here already. At the end of this month, well, I guess it just started, so they sold at the end of last month and they're up on the trade right now. People that sell that, they go, you know what? Not only am I short because I know this is a selling area. It's a very tall one though, because if you had enough money to start selling even more here, you know how much more money you make? So it's totally counterintuitive because if you're riding this move on the monthly and you're bullish Bitcoin, you're saying, "Oh, dude, we are going." I'm just saying, in your dream fantasy, you're going here. This would be like a governor able to lock down the state for like Everville. It's not going to happen. As soon as the numbers came out on COVID, so didn't we all know we were going there? What I'm saying now is that it is going to be a bear market. You are done. Stocks are put a fork in it, and Bitcoin's going to waffle. So Bitcoin, I think, is going to just, over the years, calm down and waffle. So that my prediction is, sideways bullshit nonsense. Like, I have various scenarios. I had this indicator once. It's buried somewhere on my indicator list that would actually do walk forwards like it would say, I think this could happen. Now, we all know these scenarios could happen. And once you know that these things do happen, you've got just go on TradingView and people will be like, it's going to go like this, then it's going to go like this. And then what's going to happen is you're going to come back up. See this bottom? That's going to become a top later on. Don't you know how this works, son? And then it's going to go like this. And I'm like, dude, but this is a monthly chart. If I have to listen to another dumb shit, scared fucking snowflake. What happened to the term snowflake? What are all these motherfuckers with the masks on? 6%. Like I told you, this is a fucking joke. These motherfuckers drive it right off a cliff, lock it down. I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck that somebody made an executive order that said you can't let me see the barista's ass. So then I go in there, and my favorite gay barista, he's all chummy till I take my mask down. Just that you got to put the mask back. I'm like, dude, I'm ready to. Because we've had people walk out of here. I'm like, dude, that would be me in about so fuck. And then they're going BLM on me. Black dicks matter. Fuck you. So some guy was submit a comment about trading versus politics. Now, let's face it, we're not morons. I'm not a big Jordan Peterson fan, but he called it out, saying, women, mommy's liberal, daddy's conservative. Fuck yeah, because daddy's paying the bills. Now, if you want to just live on the state and turn into a fucking infant, sure, go for it. Now, that's what's happened, of course, we can see that. But I'm not on board with. So here's the deal. It's a polarity situation. People take sides very harshly. Look at this market here. What could you possibly say about the poor son of a bitch that bought Bitcoin at 22? At 19,000, he's still going, dude, we're only at 11,000. Could we just make it back up to where I got in? Like, fucking. Now, did they get Did they buy more down here? Well, fuck no, they wouldn't buy more down here. But some early goober was like, I heard this is a doji back here, and it usually retests the doji. Or I would just start buying in auction theory. I'd just buy this giant fucking vacuum here, this giant hole. They're like, dude, I got limits sitting in here at Bitcoin. They're like, really? You think it could go to? Yeah, dude, Bitcoin went to 4. It's a pure market. And then this wick. Could you see that coming? That this void would be a critical, like, holy shit. But I mean, we filled this void, so we took off this top. Being a little jumping around, but I guess I can't take it. I watch these people. Here's the lonely wick. So you start selling. Okay, you scalped to here. You're out of this trade now on the monthly. On the monthly, dude. It's not the world. This is not even a 4-hour chart. But now, if this was a 4-hour chart, you'd have to say, what in the fuck was going on here? Now, I know a lot of people would want to know the reason for these prices. But what is the reason for this price? Well, I can tell you. As soon as it started to take off here, people are like, well, holy fucking shit. And this could be gold at 5,000. It almost looks like that kind of move. I mean, now, if you're long that, you're probably going, I could do no wrong. I mean, you could pull the trigger anywhere along here long. And you don't need to stop. It's not a lot of leverage on Bitcoin. And you could actually own the Bitcoin. You don't have to trade it off of a broker. You could actually own it. Did you buy more when it came to here? Now, I think it's rare that there's one individual out there that's doing that trade. And you could have just jumped on the, you could have also treated, let's not forget, you could have treated every one of these as a breakout. I'm just going to buy more when it takes this out. Fuck simpleton selling on limits. Yeah, that's great. You're riding this gravy train trend that you see. And this is why the ICT goes off on these retail trading bucks that I'm getting more insight into his thinking. It's cute. I mean, you got to see the guy's out of his mind. He says stuff like, there's a gap here on the daily chart. You got to see this video, the latest video. It's about 10 minutes in. This is as far as I get in. I try to speed him up, so here's the problem. I go to speed him up because a lot of these people, they talk so slow, I can't take it. But he puts these pauses in, and then he talks fast. So if you speed him up, he's kind of designed it so you can't speed him up. Because then it just sounds like silence, and then silence, and you fucking, you're like, what the fuck? But I don't know what mine's designed for, my speed, but man, this is crazy. This is a crazy world. But now I just want to point out that, believe it or not, this is the Corona wick, and I'm going to tell you, man, people lost their minds on that Corona. Dude, it's 6% death. The flu is more brutal. I get it. If you have somebody that's about to die, and they're not going to survive anything. Pneumonia, and the fact that the flu stats don't exist. How are people able to and this is the scariest thing so far is what's going on with people in the mask thing, because I feel like I am in a prop house and everybody's on the wrong side of the trade, and I'm like, are you guys going to come back with a machine gun later because you're going to blame it on our moving averages? Have 20 EMAs. Just wipe out the whole, it's like the first time prop firm makes it to the news. Yeah, everybody was on the other side of that trade. Yeah, we thought it was going to, so I heard, but this is another thing. I'm just putting this out as a warning. If anybody's in the stock market, I'm serious as a heart attack right now. Get the fuck out. You just seen capitalism on display. It ain't going to happen again like this, man. You flooded so much money into the system, and everybody, the sector rotation is going to be brutal now because of Corona, the response to Corona. The riots are just nothing but, that's just classic. You could stomp that out in a minute. I mean, we all know that's not even possible to last. It can't, it's unsustainable. Come on. You got to be kidding me. you know, you come over here, this could be a problem. We have people with full auto around here, so you're gonna have a problem. But let that go, as they say. And so Bitcoin, I would say I'd go flat on everything. Like if I would go pure cash right now, so I'm very heavily long the dollar. But this is a ship. If you're going to swing trade this on a 3 month basis, and in ICT's last video, it's like, oh, these are 3 month moves here, and I can tell you where the market's going. And he's talking about precision entries. This is the okay. I think this is the big kind of mind trap is the idea that you're going to find a precision entry. You trade really big on that one entry. Yeah, okay. This is the idea that you're going to get a big gun and wait for a big piece of game to come by, and you're going to shoot that one thing. This is the one shot idea. Sniper thinking, okay, you could do that, but you don't have to. And if you can't babysit the 3 minute chart because it's got better signals than the 4 minute chart, obviously, then you could just throw a basket of tickets out there, or you could just do, hey, I'm still long Bitcoin from. You could claim I'm long Bitcoin from $200, and like I'm not really worried. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. How much Bitcoin are you in, by the way? So the size of your position is going to dictate like how much you shit your pants on a price fluctuation, isn't it? Isn't that what's really going to determine whether or not you have to have a colonectomy? Like, you just so upset about the trade that you're in, and you're not able to winning or losing, because it's just as bad to be in a giant winning trade thinking, I mean, why don't I just get out and free up the margin? So my consideration is I don't want to be holding, investing. I'm not an investor. I don't think it's time wise. It's too much exposure. Like, you could be long Apple right now at $131 a share, and you bought it at 50. But I would say it reminds me of this trade I did where I was like, yeah, I'm just going to hold it. I think the first time anybody did a buy and hold and got kind of gave back 800% of their gains, they would say, maybe not so much the next time on this kind of idea, buy and hold. I get the faith idea of it, and this is also like a so the Democrat Republican argument, which is not a pure, that's a idealistic. That's like 20/80 rule on RSI. Buy it 20%. Also, I heard ICT never got past tweaking indicators. He's talking about RSI at 14, divergence that didn't work for him, so he figured out, well, hey, like anybody that's gotten burned from reading a book, and I've read many of those books, and I mean, the only thing that was missing was this trade's going to cost you $48.98. And you have no idea of the outcome. I mean, this would be the total risk, or maybe that is the loss you took on one trade. Okay, well, shit, I spent so much time researching where to get in, where to get in, the best price. Now, the thing is about when are you going to get in? Well, you could leave that up to the market by just picking the price, and the market would choose, if ever, actually. So you say, when did you get in? It could have been determined just by the price getting hit. Or you could say, at the end of the day, there's no nonsense way, Emmett going to get in. Because we pulled back. I mean, on my algorithm, it'd be buying on pullbacks or pull-ups, whatever you want to call them, pull-downs, pull-ups, pull-downs. Same thing with the Republican-Democrat thing. You've got people that, yeah, it's because, well, the vigilance or the protection of property is created by criminals. So otherwise, people just be like, I don't care, steal it all. It's all yours. Let's just take out the middleman. Instead of you taxing me and giving it to the poor, just let the poor come and take my shit. I'll just leave my door unlocked. You can come over and get whatever you want. In fact, just move in. Everybody move in with me. So the problem here is everybody just boarded the um, stock market's overbought. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just scary looking to me. I mean, end of the year is coming. Also, people I don't think realize that some of this money they're getting, they have to pay taxes on. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. They said that the sales were up on this and that, but then I hear people are paying off their debt. The people that try to get a global view of the world that go to Zero Hedge and they look at the all the articles and stuff and all these, I guess they're really speculations on what the next piece of data is going to be based on the last piece of data, which is what you're doing here, supposedly. But the chart is a historical printout. Like this is like a EKG of the patient. And I suppose you could put stochastics or you could put RSI on some guy's heart rate and stuff and say, yeah, this guy's about ready to fucking. It's like Biden, he's done. He can't manage. Yeah, it's be like, yeah, he's just the thing is, it just shows you how people love something that's familiar as opposed to something that's kind of extreme. And the auction thing is about extremities, the wicks, these extreme prices. And I'm looking at this Apple. Now I'm not saying Apple's gonna go out of business, but look at Apple stock. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the one that just pops up. It's amazing. And here's the thing. I'm listening to radio pretty much all day long. And I hear this guy come on the radio, and he's trying to sell gold. I think gold's had it too. Gold's done. Well, I would go flat on gold because if Bank of America claims it's going to 3,000 or 5,000, something like that, Bank of America thinks gold could go to 3,000. Well, even 3,000 is just not even doable. There's no fucking way, dude. Now, I know the argument is they printed all this money, blah, blah, blah. I just can't imagine gold at 3,000 an ounce. If that's true, then the dollar is going to be like 50 cents, A New Zealand dollar is going to eclipse the American dollar finally, like I thought it would 10 years ago, but no, apparently not. So those kind of fundamental arguments, this should be worth that. Why is that not? It's unfair and it's manipulated, blah, blah, blah. And it's just fucking ridiculous. ICT also goes into this thing about, the market, they know where they want to take it. Oh, them. It's like he's taking the side that these poor retail goobers are led by the nose. They get their indicators perk up. Next thing you know, they're trapped in a fucking trade. Well, yeah, the trap trade, the auction. He's got all this lexicon nomenclature built around that. I realize he's got, so I'm not, if you want to sell that stuff, great. And the cutest thing he does is when he says, I can't show everything. Dude, I'll show you every fucking thing. I don't give a fuck. And I know there's people showing what I'm showing. He's saying stuff like, nobody's showing what I'm showing. I think if you just fucking think outside of, like, you got to put some, I guess you either got to trade, I don't know how to really, you have to accept the fact that trading is a sport or a thing that could be considered to be the most dynamic situation. Like, you could have a pending order. It's hard to believe you could have a pending order that doesn't get filled for like 7 months or 7 minutes. It's a perfectly good trade. It's a logical trade. It's like, okay, well, we're going to get in here, and this one ticket that you have listed has a particular risk and a particular reward. That's just one fucking trade. Are you seriously going to tell me you're so good at trading you'll do 3 trades a year and they all fucking winners? And you're in big? It's just not even possible, dude. There's no fucking way that even if you wrote the most masterpieceful song or executed the most insane guitar shredding, that you couldn't say, well, that one I could have probably done a little. I don't know. But see, that you go back to this Democrat, artist, liberal, completely right brain world of Zen and bullshit. This is so cute. Some girl that was listening to my thing, she's got this, manifest destiny, all these buzzwords. Yeah, I guess so. People want to have the buzzword because then it locks it in. They know, I know what you're talking about, right? I know, I can tune in your station and understand what you're saying because of the words that you've chosen. And then I guess if you have this, and then he's saying, he says, I want you to see what I'm saying in this video and come back and prove me wrong. And even if you got the direction right, it's possible. I know this is inconceivable, but even if you tell me where the market's going, it doesn't mean I can make money in that trade. And also, I'm speaking in pure concepts of making money, not making money, winning, losing, because in the real world, the question you'd have to say is like, can I even bear? And he admits to having no patience, so he's a day trader. I said, and so that's why I'm totally impatient. That's why I have my RSI. If I used RSI and I could show you RSI in this chart, I'm sure there's some cells I can already see where there would be, where it's more extreme prices at a higher price. So the pullbacks are extreme. You definitely want to buy the pullback of, if you're doing Elliott wave, it's going to be wave C, right? This ABC, this hard pullback. You want that one. But even the range traders want to get in there. So ICT is saying, like, and he figured it out, right? Range trading makes money because they're hunting them stops when they range trade it. See, you see what's going on there now? So yeah, the market goes up. Now this is also the most inconceivable way to make money is to literally buy low and sell high. It sounds so glib, but it's the only way to really do it. And certainly the extreme high and extreme low would be the best trading. But when people look at the chart and they see the market going up to the extreme, they think it's going to just fucking keep going. It's like gold's going to go to 5,000. Dude, you just got to like cut back on the fucking bull ponies. Bull, I don't know. I have not seen a algorithm. Of course, I haven't been doing any gold searches because it's a religion with these people. So buy and hold. So yeah, I could go back in my videotapes. I said 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I said that the gold was probably going to trade sideways and just destroy people's brains. It actually went to like 1,000 or 1,100 for a little bit. It took a big dip. It took a dippy to do like this thing here. Like gold, imagine, and this is kind of like gold chart actually because I'm on the chart. So I realized another thing here, which I didn't think about. The no nonsense guy, and these guys are in the same camp of they've been burned retail traders. They got burned. We all get burned, right? So this is the idea that you got this book, How to Pick Up Chicks, and it just didn't work out. Okay, it's coming up at 1:30 here. We're looking for some action in the currencies. So the currencies also Bitcoin's open 24 hours. It's open all the time now. The market was definitely thin back there on the left side. I don't have volume on this one, but yeah. So the volume on the stocks matters. The volume's dropped off pretty bad. Of course, that's not to me. Of course, it's less volume because the price is higher. So I don't know how that works out of total shares existing. And another thing is that I don't trust the chart I'm looking at because of this shenanigans they play in the stock market. Now people say, "Oh, trade the stocks." I'm like, dude, I couldn't trade the stocks because they do these 2-for-1 splits and inversions on the chart. And I go, that's bullshit. I mean, is they back adjust the chart? What the fuck, Is this the price? Oh no, we split it fucking 8 times. Didn't you hear about that? We had a meeting at night. I mean, talk about fucking a cartel. So if you start to label this guy's a supremacist, this guy's a dude, you're kind of be out of your fucking mind. If your idea of running for office is you're gonna burn shit up, I don't think you're gonna win. I'm just saying that's like a brokerage firm saying, "Come here, come with us, and we burn your money. We churn your account. Come trade with us." But look at our carpet. Look at our receptionist. She's so hot. Come on, come with us. I mean, I've even, I'm pretty naive. I've had that treatment. So, I was like, God, if these people don't know what they're doing, who does? Look at her skirt. I mean, there's no way they would hire some bimbo at the front desk. No way. It would never happen. I don't know. Maybe the whole world's so cliche. I mean, it's just, it's sad. It's so sad, and you're gonna hear it. It's gonna be the backlash. So, this whole time, the media. Well, I don't really listen to the media, but from what I'm hearing, I don't hear them. I don't think CNN comes on in the morning and go, dude, Apple is fucking killing it. Man, God, hope, but they don't. They should be issuing a sell alert if they really cared about people, because it's parabolic, man. Stocks are out of control. I just saw the S&P 500 has a monthly hammer gap. It's like it's fucking nuts. It's out of control. I'm just saying. If you know anybody that's in the stock market, there's a problem there. Boy, I was saying that we were going to take out the highs. I didn't think we were going to take out the highs. We're only in September. There's a problem. I'm just saying, I don't think, I'm not saying 20 years from now you wouldn't say, what are you, nuts? That's just nothing but a pullback. So I think there's a pullback coming in the stocks. Come on. Are you serious? The dollar is so, and so the quarterly and don't forget, they just filed their taxes July 15th. So you see also, and this is a fundamental thing, and when the corona came, it made that wick on Bitcoin on the monthly. You know, if you just did the line chart, it's like it didn't exist. It was just a pullback. It was already pulling back before that. It was already down at those prices. So in just pure data prices, like ticker tape trading without a chart, you're looking at you ever just stare at the quote and go, holy shit, we're back at that price? Like, now I stare at the market quote, just the quotes, and I go, look at that thing's just fucking dicking around 3 pips like for 8 hours. What the fuck? And you're like, this thing's gonna take off. Now that's another strategy I'm bouncing around here, but you could just say, I don't know where the fuck it's going, and make so much fucking money. You ever heard of options trading? Now, if this guy that was in the natural gas trade that was crying like a baby, if he would have just straddled that bitch, that's classic fucking money management technique. Now, that's just why technique blows away. Okay, so there's two worlds there. If you're going to play guitar with technique, that's so fucking amazing. It doesn't matter what you play. But if you wrote a song and the melodies, fucking people are put lyrics on top of that and it's locked into people's brains, that's worth so much more money. Probably than your technique. Although you're making money here for technique because you got an audience for the technicians. And the executionists, the people that can pull it off. You may have written that song, but you can't fucking sing. Of course. That's the Elton John story. This guy can't fucking. He's just like, give me some lyrics there. I'll give you some music. Yeah, it's capitalism, right? I'll build the chassis. You sell the car. I mean, this is like real order flow. And but let that go. That's tangential. It's so cute that so cute when people would sell a course and a mentorship. Like later on when I'm going to show you is how to get on the Lolita Express. I always wonder when I hear ICT do these videos, is he going to take us down this highway and then? But I think you're going to have like. So people have this merchandise they sell on their site. You got to have like a forex decoder ring. You got to have like a mood ring. Oh, should I go long or short? You have a buy and sell. Instead of a mood ring, can't they have a buy and sell ring? Okay, I just gave away my $1 million idea. Okay, it's bottom of the hour. Now we're waiting for. Okay, we just got the dollar just popped up. So we look for the dollar to go up into the end of the week here, and I think it's done. We're done here, punishing the dollars being done. And stocks are cooked. So put a fork in those stocks, people. Step away from. I told Jimmy Bob. I even called Jimmy Bob and said, "Your 401k, you better fucking get the fuck out. You are in trouble." Look at this. Look at this Swiss now. The old Swiss. Everybody's probably a little shy still to trade the Swiss. If you lost a fortune on that trade years ago. Look at this daily chart. Now, the closing prices on daily. This is a 50 pip grid with a 25 pip. So actually, those marks are 25 pips. Those labels, and then it's 50 pips on the big. So it'd be 50, 100, 50, 100. And great trade, right? You're buying down here. The auction thing, I really should run the auction guy's tape and talk over him and explain what I see and what he says, but basically it comes down to unfair extreme price entry, and it can go from extreme to extreme. So in a pending order system, yeah, if you started buying here now, granted you could have done this with a 300 pip stop, and everything works with a 5,000 pip stop. I'm just saying. If you started buying below here, and if you probably were able to get this first trade off here, there was a like a dead cat bounce before it went through the floor on the daily. If you bought every 50 pips down, now you could be a standard lot, a 1K, whatever you feel like you can handle. And every 50 pips it drops, you just keep buying. Now, you're not using any Fibonacci, and you're just buying because you know you can afford it. And as it comes down, you're just like, holy shit. Now, just to make this a little bit more labor intensive, which reduces your risk, you would just have 2 tickets on every 50-yard line. And when this thing comes down, you're going to scalp one of those off if it ever becomes profitable. And the other one, you just let it go, which means you would have an 8K here. You're long 8K. I'm talking 5,000 pip stop. So you're risking, you're probably not going to get stomped out. In fact, how's this? You just put enough money in the account for this trade. You put $100 in the account, you get in 8K. I don't know if you could survive that. I'd have to do the math, but we're talking about a 200 pip window here. And on the dailies, you're not using any algorithm other than pure grid price trading. And for the guy that's doing grid trading, he says that it takes a lot of money. Yes, because it takes a wide stop to finally get paid off from getting an extreme. Well, actually, if you do a pure grid trade, we just lay out tickets there. When the market trends, you're going to get destroyed. So you have a 20% chance of it's like Russian roulette with 2 bullets maybe in a 6-shooter. Because at some point it is going to trend. 80% of the time, yeah, you can sit there and do the Russian roulette. And if you can see the bigger picture, so to speak, like here on the dailies, if I go to the weekly, boom, you can't even see this trade really. Like at this point, you can still see it, but what makes it even more amazing, I think, for the dollar right now, what's going on with stocks and everything, if you look at this low from 3 years ago and this low recently, we're in this kind of unfair value auction, whatever you want to call it, trade block. Wow. Well, we come to here, people are going to get out. But what if we engulf and go full engulf on this thing? And starting here would be the wick on the monthly. This is the weekly, so we're on and this is the end of the year. And I just want to say in the big picture here, there's something where this is supposed to keep tanking into this void down here. And this wick, don't forget this one. I think that's a real price. That's the mind blower. I think this is the mind blower. I can't remember, but actually no, this is the mind blower. This is where they depeg it, right? And this is, I mean, this is really amazing down here. And I did videos on that. That is really amazing. This here is not, this is pretty good too. This is not too shabby. But this, yeah. And it's funny because, you know, the big horrific thing that happened in 2008, this was 2011. But yeah, never depeg a currency, right? And this here is trapped under the monthly floor right now. And the scalpers will, I mean, the logical trade here is to get out as it comes back to this support. Take the money and run on this monthly psycho move. That is psychotic. And yeah, would you sell here and look for it to tank more? Not me. I don't think so at all. No way. Jose. Look at the gold market. So this is going to be the big picture, I suppose. Another insane, irrational exuberance makes, I think it took out the high of its life. I mean, Corona pushed this shit off the edge, but the big reveal is that, and this is also a counter fundamentalist view, is that the dollar should be worth less because they printed so much fucking money. No, not at all. Oh, there's too much debt now. Because there's people are making so much fucking money now. And they're buying shit. With money, I mean, I know this is a liberal democratic argument that if you would raise the minimum wage, was completely the most moronic, harebrained shit in the world. Because that's central planning. You're going to make way more money. I know there's a liberal guy there that I talked to on Skype once, and I mean, I know how these people think. You know, it's just if you just hug somebody, they won't shoot you. Not necessarily. Don't hug people with guns. Maybe put a rule on your checklist before you leave the house, or make sure they got the safety on. Always put the safety on. But this stuff is a trap, you know. And so I have a friend that told me he bought gold, and like, I know this girl that knows people at work. They're talking about buying gold. I'm like, well, thanks for the sell signal, or just get the fuck out. I mean, it may go to 3,000, but I'm not locking up margin. If something's going to waffle at 2,000, or it's really catastrophic swings. And you know, Apple. If I'm home so much, do I need my Apple? I'm probably going to get on a real computer. I mean, I'm saying fundamentally, this is another shift. I don't want to sound like I'm projecting the model in my head, but I guess I am for the sake that if you're going to tell me I got to stay home, well, then I'll stay home. And it's just going to be a whole different world. And people aren't going to be using those. They said a lot of people's electric bills went up and stuff. Yeah, because they're at home. Now they got their big computer on. They're fucking working on they brought their business home. They're fleeing these cities. And even to me, I'm not so afraid of somebody burning down my house, but it's not like what you see in the news is not the whole world, right? These are places that are like, I'm sure people are already, it wasn't, I mean, the nicest place in the world. It's funny there's no riots in San Francisco. It's too hit. It's too hit to really even, there's nothing to go after there. But this is a fascinating time to be alive if you're into the markets and you're into extreme behavior. You know, it's an extreme world. I mean, you know, this reminds me of the old days. In just the most insane, radical protests that people have, and really harsh shit, you know. this stuff here, I don't know. People are just being brats, but and nobody. It's not a threshold for anybody to give a fuck apparently. But I like when they go to the mayor's place there and his condo and try to burn it down. So cute that he thinks he's helping somebody, and oh, it's just mind blowing. The whole thing is just mind blowing on so many levels. But the markets are taking it. You couldn't tell by looking at any chart what historically was going on there. And what you may think is like, I was in this trade this morning, and I'm like, I looked at the forex factory, and they go, yeah, they're coming out with some fucking ADP or something. Now, you think, oh, this is fucking dude. The market doesn't even fucking give a shit about these news reports anymore. There's a kind of a, I don't know if it's a numbness, but I guess we're all anticipating some kind of drama when the news comes out, but not necessarily. But yeah, if you want to do your shtick, I suppose, and have your newsletters, and I don't know how people do it. Honestly, I barely get out of bed. How do people do like, oh, I got mentorships, and here I'm doing this, and let me do that, and let me show you this, and like, what fucking, I don't know. I don't know where you find time for that. But I guess if you're getting paid that amount of money, I guess you find the time. I thought the whole point of trading was to reduce the effort in life. But I mean, the beauty of the MT4 platform is that you can click this shit. Now that's a dream. In my opinion, that's a labor-saving device. This is like when you have these things where you stick something through the wall. Flexible rods, that you can fish something through the wall. Because you may tear the whole wall apart without that labor-saving device. It's actually what they call them. It's so cute. And I guess it goes back to the olden days of like loading a cannon up and shooting that at your neighbor because you think their car is nicer than yours. Envy. But yeah, it's a pretty clickbait, just headline world of half truths are supposed to be truth. Well, it's only half truth because you've only got a framed piece of data. If you just frame the charts a certain way, you can make the argument for any fucking thing. I could take any indicator and go, dude, look at the 4-hour chart. It's a buy. Come on. Right. So this is the other thing. If you have this so-called algorithm, so see, no nonsense could not handle that much. It overload his brain. So he's saying, just try the dailies. Build the algorithm on the daily. And one time he actually went on there and so you can see how somebody thinks by what they filter out. He's saying, well, I looked at the weekly chart. I can't believe it. This is the problem with the markets is that these setups that you see on the monthly, I mean, that's the purest kind of smoothed out data you can get is like the big picture. But, like where are you at? Where is your trade right now? Where should you be? Should you be long or short based on that monthly? And you can see that, wow, this would be a great fucking trade on the monthly. Whereas that 4-hour trade's fucking good too. And it's shorter term. It's the same amount of money in essence in the end of the whole play out of your target based on your fib entry and your Rakanashis. This stuff is outside of, so the theoretical meets you shitting your pants. This is the big gap really. And you could have gone to Harvard and all this stuff, and I have a PhD in economic science. It doesn't mean you can trade the fucking market because you're gonna shit your pants. If you're freaked out about being down 1,000 pips, I mean $1,000 or 1,000 pips. Now, for some people, if you said I'm up 1,000 pips, they go, "What the fuck? This guy really can trade. Like he's up 1,000 pips." And if you say I'm up $100, they go, dude, I don't know. Really? If you say you're up $1,000, people go, look at this guy. He can make $1,000 a week trading or a day. But see, the prop firm, I guess it's about percentage because they're going to go, okay, here's 40 grand. We start your 40 grand, whatever. But what if you don't want to? Okay, now the prop firm thing is appealing because you can say, it's like a real job, kind of, but I'm kind of half in trading and half a real job. And I don't know what these prop firms are like, or maybe they're just all at home now. Maybe they're just people going to trade at home. They're going to buy 4Ks like fucking, what's his name? Pike. Pike's got 4K. You know, he's going to get a burn. They're going to find out 4K causes cancer. I don't. But you know, he's got that going on. And sure, you know, we could all have our mentorships. I would my trading mentorship would be like, how much beer have you drinking today? Our traders recommend 3 beers for scalping. Maybe a beer for if you're a swing trader. Maybe just start drinking liquor, tequila. If you're old, don't drink tequila. I'm just saying. I drank some tequila the other night, so my the guy that's a keyboard player drummer says I'll do this tequila, so he has like the real shit. He's got ice that looks like a ball, and he's got the shaker thing, and he whips this thing up. And I'm like, holy shit! It's brutal. I thought I was doing heroin, so I thought all alcohol, just because it says alcohol content, has nothing to do with the style of the alcohol. So style does matter, and if you're a guy that likes to swing trade, not that there's anything wrong with that. And these are trades that might last 3 hours or 3 days, but I think there is a swing trade, and this is also the auction theory. It's all the same thing. It's like you could look for markets that are dead and guess on their direction. Your entry technique could be, okay, I'm just going to be a passive trader and let the market decide. I'll put a buy stop, a sell stop, and I'm okay. I'm okay getting chopped and getting whipsawed. I've accepted that up front. But I've looked at my stats, and it looks like I back tested that enough. This should work out. And you can probably plot along and be the most consistent trader in the fucking world, waiting for those setups. Now, you do have to go and run 23 pairs like no nonsense, because that is your algo, right? That's why he has to trade 23 pairs. In other words, I built the algo. It can go eat stuff. Now I just find different size animals for it to eat. It's like I've got a gun. Just recalibrate the gun with bigger, so the design stays the same. But I think there's a problem in the real world when you go too big with a gun. Now, are you going to carry it around? No, you can't carry it around now. So a 22 might be better than some big giant 44 Magnum. So the 44 Magnum big cannon, or do you have a little kind of high frequency? So they want to tax high frequency trading in New York. It's so cute. You knew this was coming, right? So that kind of explains the whole Frank Frank Corona thing there. And so now we're left with this legacy of moronicism, I guess you'd call it. You got to really ask yourself, in some of these things, like, what the fuck were they thinking? Of course, I don't think in a panic anybody thinks. Don't think that happens. Here's gold, by the way, as I just totally stay off topic. I guess I've thought about a lot of things to say, and I've been reading people's comments, and still getting kickback. I got these videos that I've had for a while about order flow is rubbish, and I'm still getting people commenting and complaining about it. It's so cute, and I think it's because it's a trigger word. Like if you attack somebody's, like if I said order blocks are bullshit, I bet if I don't tag stuff anymore, because like there's this whole thing you can do to get, if you're in the YouTube business, you can, I guess this hashtag thing or something. And you kind of like, or I could tweet, but I don't tweet anymore. I used to double, like when I published a video, I could put it on Twitter too, but I gave up, I guess, there. Plus, I'm not a big Twitter fan. They're kind of like this club now. I guess you got to be in the club. I guess that's what happens. And I guess another thing that kind of disturbs me, some guy was saying, oh, you're really triggered by ICT. Yeah, I guess it just gets kind of, it's kind of, like, here, I'll show you how to play bass guitar. Here, do this. I've met these music teachers that are like, well, I'm like, dude, you don't even know how to play yourself. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck, dude, you're just learning. Yeah, I know, I'm just learning, but I'm gonna show you. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to play my own guitar. Actually, I thought, well, I want you to show me a song. So what I would do is I wouldn't take a guitar lesson. I say, unless you can show me how to play this song, I'm not going to take a lesson on music theory from you. I don't even want to hear about it. I don't know. Maybe I should have done it. I don't know. Maybe I'd be a professional musician, but I never wanted to be in a situation where my job would own me to that degree. So I've always been a private one. That's why trading to me wasn't. It was the perfect fit. Like I'm by myself, anyways. Um, when I design things and build them, so I would never have like a consensus building. Like, hey Ralph, what do you think? I'm like, fuck Ralph. I'm building this thing. Yeah, I built this fucking thing. So I guess why I can't imagine this. I guess partnership thing doesn't work for me. I don't have to be a certain person. Of course, everybody has their own life, and I don't really want to, like call somebody up and just. That's why I'm on YouTube babbling because I'm saving my friends the punishment of me calling up and just ranting. No, like, dude, I gotta go sleep now. I know, but I'm just so pissed off. Can you listen to me just bitch a little bit longer, please? This is why YouTube was invented. So that whole thing about, the YouTube. Yeah, I mean, God, I don't know how people manage it. So I demonetized all my stuff because there was this thing. The only reason I turned the monetization on was so I could have my own custom thumbs, but I don't do that anymore. I'm just too lazy. I don't see the point. Look, I don't know what that whole thing was about. With no nonsense, I guess. Yeah, I guess he's writing a book and stuff. And there are people that are curiosity seekers, I suppose. That would read the book and stuff. I listen to ICT and stuff. I mean, I can't listen to it all because, and people say, could you comment about this guy's video? Yeah, I could. I think my point being is that when somebody is selling a course or a style of trading, they're probably not going to talk about other styles because they don't want to either confuse you or they don't know those styles. If you go to a guy that's a shredder, you want to learn how to shred on guitar, I'd probably pick a guy that teaches shredding. Now, could you make a living shredding? Yeah, it's currently, I guess it's a thing. You see these girls shredding on YouTube on guitars. That means playing really fast scales. By the way, it'd be like scalping. I don't know, but you know, sure, there's all these little niches, but why are you trading? Now somebody said once, and I was very angry when I heard this years ago. People would ask these blunt questions like, "Well, why are you trading in the first place?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking retarded? To make money." And then I thought, yeah, I mean, like, why are you playing guitar? Well, to get laid, obviously. I didn't think about that, but somebody said that to me years ago, and I go, fuck you, I'm a goddamn artist. I'm a musician. How dare you? I'm offended. I mean, I need reparations because you said that I'm playing guitar to have sex. Well, no, I actually like the sound of music, but I do like the sound, but I figure, well, who wouldn't like that? And maybe luckily some girl likes it, but there's it's not there is a difference between boys and girls. There's a difference between Republicans and Democrats. Yeah, I guess this is the checks and balances. And there is a bull and bear view of the market. You could be in a counter trend mood, and unfortunately in politics, you're making money from the mudslinging, right? Or you're hoping people buy your bullshit. It's a sad situation, and now you're trapped in having to perform. These governors are handed a disaster they've never had to deal with. Whereas Trump's going, dude, this just looks like another fucked up casino that I used to own. He can handle it. These poor governors are just like, they're freaking out. They're just snowflakes. It's a disaster for them. It's sad, and it's like their answer is just, can I just hug everybody? And the riders are like, we're gonna hug you real hard with like no lube. Yeah, we're gonna hug you all right, buddy. Jimmy Bob, get the unlubricated machinery. It's an amazing time to be alive, if you're in politics or the markets or just like going, holy shit. Uh, Now, this is the big window of opportunity that all the. I think that's when I started talking politics last time, is because of this. Well, the Republicans are like, I want my kids to go back to school. Yeah, so you can go back to your dumb shit job. Just stay home and work. I've never understood it, actually, when the internet started. I used to say to my buddy who used to complain, who committed suicide later, he used to say, oh, this job I got, this corporate job. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You've never owned your own business. He's a liberal. It's kind of tough. We had to break up. We were friends when we were kids. We were really, like, let's do this and that. Man, we got to be older, and I was paying taxes because I was self-employed and he wasn't. And I was like, dude, we ain't friends no more. You got your head up your ass. And he committed suicide over it because he couldn't fucking find a job. His job, and then so every weekend he'd go up north, and this was his deal, was to leisure time, and I'm just not into that. Like, I cannot leisurate. I can't do it. I can't just chill on the beach. I'm gonna lose my mind. I could never do it. I still can't even imagine just, well, we're just gonna go and chill. I'm like, and you're not gonna do anything? Well, no, we're not gonna tinker with shit. We're just gonna sit back and take it all in. I guess I can do that, for about an hour. And I'm like, can we just do something now? But, okay, it's almost 2 o'clock. So here's 2 a.m. Big deal here. London Open. Drama's coming. I'm looking for the dollar to go up. Looking for the British pound to tank like a whore. And stocks to tank like a whore. I'm calling this trade right now like I called the other trades. I can do the same game ICT does. It's just, I'm going to show you everything. I show you the whole thing for free here. Look at the Canadian dollar. Now, you could have gotten this puppy. Here's another classic auction floor trap. I don't know if you're seeing this pattern that I'm seeing, but if you don't, that's better because that's in part of my secret course. This is the same fucking pattern as, now this is fall through the floor. This is the big giant void. And look at how within almost, talk about precision entry, right? So ICT is saying, and this is the argument day traders make, I can sell up here, and this is true. I can sell here with this is a 10 pip grid, these little guys. Sell here with a 10 pip stop, make 40 pips. Buy with a 10 pip stop, make 40 pips, right? You can see those trades in there. And he has to defend this thing at the beginning of his video, his last video. Well, people say hindsight. Yeah, I got it, right? I say that too. But this beautiful range trading here, which notice once again, 20% up, 80% grid trading, right? 20%, 20%, right? 20%, 20%. And then I'm going to call this as a range trade. I'm saying this here is a range trade. Sideways as it may be, I know the sellers are in the end making money here, but range, trend. I'm going to say this is range. I'm saying anytime this market makes a run, right now it's making a run. It's going to get choppy and then advance. What should I do? Should I hold it? Should I put another trade? Well, and this is another thing that just kind of destroys my brain with the with the no nonsense guy. Now you can see that this is built around his lifestyle and his way of viewing the world is that he's going to say stuff like, well, if you're in this currency, don't go in that currency because you're duplicating a trade. See? Yes and no. Because if you have already decided that you're going to trade so small that you could trade all 23 pairs and take all fucking trades. This is where the money management's completely the most important thing would be, how do you risk out each trade? If you're going to risk 2% of your account, but you sliced it into each trade is only 0.001% of your account, you get a lot of flexibility. You could trade all that stuff, but could you monitor it? Are you going to have any kind of emotional attachment? Are you going to turn like freak out? So I don't know if artists, it's tough, also, you really technically are making money while people are losing money. This is the thing that used to bother me in commodities is that, you mean I'm winning, he's losing? I'm really not that guy. So everybody starts off as a libtard, idealist, utopianist, and then as life goes on, they go, wait a minute. Just because I bought this thing at the store, you get a defective item at the store, you feel betrayed, right? You get into a trade that you told, Oh, this thing's going to be, dude, people are buying these. You got to buy this penny stock. This is amazing. You're like, that's such a great idea. So the penny stock thing, and I think I know ICT, I know the no nonsense traded penny stock. So, and this stuff is high leverage. This is where you buy a stock for $1 and goes to $4. So that's a good trade, even if the commissions are $40. And that's a low risk trade because that is an options trading away. You can't lose more than you got in. Now, commodities is a different thing. Futures, you could lose more than you have. That's how stuff goes to negative because of the gap in the clearinghouse and liquidity issues. But when you have this $1 trillion forex market in the euro, you could probably on any broker platform, even the shittiest broker, get a fill on the euro, but not on maybe New Zealand dollar in Asia. So I used to trade New Zealand dollar in Asia. I thought, look at this thing, man. Look at the patterns on this. Look at the RSI. And I was kind of tricked because the spread was so wide that the moves were so dynamic because the spread was part of the volatility situation. So the patterns were really bold. And if you're a pattern trader, you're like, look at this. But you're paying so much for that trade because the spread's so wide. But the drama is a side effect of the spread and the liquidity because it moves in a jerky. So the thinner the market, the more insane. And of course, the market gets thicker, the volatility dies out. If everybody's in the gold trade, it's going to smooth out. The party's over. So I'm just saying, as far as locking up your equity, that's how I look at it. I don't want 10 grand sitting in some trade. Sure, that trade might be worth 100 grand in a year. I'm not doing it. I'd rather just make 10 grand a month and always have that. I want to hold in my mind. I'm not an investor. So I don't have that skill of holding on to the trades because the whole point of going into the trading thing was to day trade it. That's what I did. I took the same course that ICT took. I got the tapes on beta tape, but I got them of Gerald Appel sitting on the beach, calling in a trade on quote truck, holding a fucking quote monitor in his hand, and he's floor pivots. I got the whole how to do the floor pivot math, take the high, the low, minus, and they thought, this is kind of kooky. Is this what professional people really do? I'm thinking, fuck no. Just like the guy that's teaching bass guitar on the. No, you're not going to be I'll go out and play bass lines and dazzle your friends. Now, you might dazzle yourself, and that's what I do for is self dazzlement. But I don't think that I don't have a delusion of grandeur that I'm going to be some giant this. And what would be the point? End up, going to the hair salon and get busted on tape. Look how powerful I am. No, you painted yourself into a fucking corner. It's like a Twilight Zone episode with these poor fuckers, these politicians. They have no idea what it takes. They don't know leadership because they can't fucking. They must have handlers. I mean, look at this fucking Beetlejuice over here in fucking Chicago. What the fuck? But it's Brexit, dude, all the way. Although this thing over in Massachusetts with the fucking complete complete utopianist just got elected. I'm glad they're driving it off a cliff. Actually, the corona's just accelerated what was going to happen anyway. So yeah, a lot of businesses were fragile. And this is another example why the stock market's up so big because we've just cleared the shelves. But I'm telling you, tech wreck's coming. No need for all this technology, mobile technology. Really? I don't know. I don't think everybody's staying home, but boy, it's certainly real estate business is in a huge, giant shift. The wheels are coming off. So the dollar is coming roaring back here. it is fun to sit back and watch the whole thing happen. I wouldn't want to be, but if I was in stocks, honestly, I'd go flat. I'd go into cash. And investor point of view, because the day trading you can do, if you're good at scalping on a 3 minute chart or 3.5 minute chart, a little bit slower pace, but you could do that. And there's no doubt you could do that. Look at this. I would sell this right here. This is the 1 hour dollar CAD. I'd probably get out of this trade right now, right? I think we've reached complete. We've come into resistance, and it really does exist. I mean, I know that ICT says support resistance doesn't exist. That's also what no nonsense says, but it does actually. I would take this trade off if I was long from under here in this looming abyss of, like, I'm sure there's people with retail stops down there. This is the ICT view. Also, I was studying some of the Wyckoff stuff, and even Wyckoff talked about smart money. Okay, so this idea that there's something new we're missing, that there's some secret that hasn't not been revealed, is ridiculous. And of course, we can find our own little secrets. Whether it's the mind game of saying, well, I'll buy one at the market and one on the limit. I mean, you have some point you have to expand your techniques. So I'd say if you could trade at the market, that's going to be a lot of work. But if you split it between limits and the market on this 1 hour chart here, you could have bought, in my world, if it's down, like I said, my robot, somebody's asked me about the robot. If I just had I guess, like I said, the robot's blind to structure. And even this trade here, if you had a robot buy because the market's down 20 pips in 1 hour and close, you'd still have to buy 10 single tickets there, because one of those has to have a stop here. One could have a stop here, stop here, stop here, but you have to take profit here, take profit here, take profit here, right? Because if you just bought one here with a stop here and you back tested it, it would get chopped. And if it did the same trade here where it's down and it buys, it's down and it buys, if it doesn't take off those first 20 pips, when it comes down here, you're going to get crushed, right? If those stops are, so you got to really be on top of this thing. And look how, if you actually babysat this on the 1 hour chart, I don't know how you stay awake for 24 hours. But if you just caught one of these moves, right? This is support. This is resistance. You'd have to have a trade plan that has a 10 to 20 pip stop looking to make 20 to 30 pips, and you could trade this. You could be a day trader. Yesterday, you could have said, well, of course, the spread's a little bit wider on the dollar CAD, right? It's 18 here, which means it's almost 2 pips plus commissions. It's a 3 pip spread. But it's moving like crazy, right? So it makes up for it. Here's another currency people will say, I can't trade that fucker. Yeah, because it's so crazy, and the spread can go to, on this broker, at 5 p.m. You can't see it here, but I'll bet you right here the spread's like 10 pips easily at 5 p.m. when there's no volume. So 5 p.m. here is every one of these dotted lines. Here's 5 p.m. So here's a really wide spread. And we know that. So when this came down here, you couldn't have put a buy limit here and necessarily got filled, because the ask may be just never going below that. Now here you probably could have. This is probably tight spreads all the way here. And then here's what ICT is going to say. Well, there's an order block up here, so sell up here. Yeah, duh. That is so fucking obvious. And you could do that all day long in here, right? Every time it nicks the wick here, you could have bought right here in this little 10 pip window. Yes, that's the sweet spot. Duh, this auctioneering is going on all day long. Fractally, that is the auction within the auction, right? Because there's an other auction you could have sold up in here for this trade, but you had to wait all day for that. Meanwhile, this guy's making money. And this is also, I think it's called the composite man. In Wyckoff theory, that there's a guy trading this right here, this exclusive thing, right? I mean, in other words, the accumulation or distribution, you could either trade this like I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, or you're every time it rallies, you sell. You're building a short position on every rally. During this, you are looking for this big, long, giant. Well, once you take this out, fuck. But never forget, there is a guy, and that would be me on this one. For my favorite kind of easy scalp is let me just buy here every 10 pips. I'll buy here, here, and when we come back to the floor, which is this wick, I would just get out. Now, ICT points this trade out, bizarrely enough, in some kind of like, well, you see, there's a gap here on the daily, and a lot of people don't know about this, and I'm like, have you been talking to Robinacci? Man, I mean, really? Everybody's sharing a brain? See, now, I could have sold there. Now, everybody just sold there, right? And another reason they're selling there is, see this top? Right there, that's the seller's window. Yeah, this is supply zone, demand zone, order block, whatever. If it comes back to here, would I buy? Yeah, but I'm going to buy there just because I could press a button right now and buy every 3 pips for an hour. If I'm trading this 1 hour thing, and I'm trading like a lot of tickets, to spread the risk, I'm either still holding and I'm going, no, dude, today we're taking this out. Now I've said that many times to myself. Is that, well, what's the big picture? I'm in this trade right now. I'm actually long the dollar. I am looking for the dollar to go up for the rest of the week, actually. So I'm holding a swing trader, I guess, an investment at this point. Sadly, it's not a very big trade, but I'm just going to hold it. And along the dollar. Like, so, okay, right now, here, the sellers are already, the guy that sold here, he just cashed out now. The scalpers are cashing out right now to this, right? That was the 10 pip trap for the bull trap, right? Ruining the bull's fun because this whole trend here, which they were loving it, and the guys that bought, so we can see the whole thing on the 1 hour chart played out. This is support, becomes resistance, which fails on the closing prices. The scalpers that buy this 10, 20 pip window, they cash out into this. Now we try to go for a full auction, which I do believe we will take out this. And then this will be the new sell window up here again. So see this big cleft here, right? This undercut here. Sell for the scalp, always for the scalp. That's a higher probability trade than the big giant. Where's it really going? And here the sellers do come in, see? You're like, well, this time it's right. This time it's failed, so which one do I take? Like, if this is coming back to the floor. Well, if you made money in this, and look at how it makes a new low, and this becomes, somebody said on the comments that, oh, I see, you're just buying new lows. Yeah, I mean, this is how the sadness of it is that, yeah, I'm just waiting for the toilet paper shelves to come back in stock. I'm gauging how all of the lemmings and all of the normies are just flipping out buying toilet paper. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's look at the monthly charts of toilet paper first. Before you lose your mind, you think you're in a bad trade, huh? Just this chart alone has so much going on. There's so many great buy new lows, sell new highs. So in that recent too, if you could just go back 5 days here and you buy this new low here, see how this fresh low comes back to the floor. People have already scalped out, but can you really scalp it? I mean, the spread is so wide here. Look, the spread will actually go to 3 pips plus this commissions is like 4. See spread just get wide there. You can see it. This is 20 pip. Doesn't go for full engulf. Another new low, 20 pips. Now here's where these setups are happening so simply clean on here. These are great trades. We make a new low. The scalpers come and they make their, here it's like 8 pips, 5. Man, that really is a breakout. Pull back to that point. Now, this is where an ICT said it in his last video. You could sell a book on that setup. This is breakout. Look at this wick here. And to me, this is why I think this idea that this is a supply zone. Look at these shaved tops. We know there's so much inventory on top of that. It's also where this whole plunge started. Now, this is the ICT. I already know ICT would say, oh, those order block here. It's coming back here, guaranteed. Okay, yeah, but when, how, But see, by the end, they say, well, they know where they want to take it. But even if you know that they know that you know that they know where they want to take it, are you in? This also, when you look at this 1 hour chart, you're dreaming that you could be awake 24 hours. That's why the 4 hour chart's easier, because you only got to be awake. You wake up every 4 hours, look at it, or every 8 hours and go, or once a day on the 4 hour chart. It's painfully obvious patterns, right? Aren't they painfully obvious? The 4 hour chart on the, if you can see 2 weeks back on the 4 hour chart, you can't find a trade in there. There's so many trades in here. There's so many ways to trade this. You could trade this over-filtered algorithm that you wrote on the dailies. Yes, you could trade that shit. I can't do it. You could do it. Obviously, this guy's got a big fan base, and I realize because he has a podcast that a lot of people are just driving their car. They're at their day job. They don't like it. They're listening to the, I figured it out. They're listening to No Nonsense podcast, and since he doesn't do a lot of charting, and he just kind of says stuff in like he's talking to a 5-year-old, which you kind of got to do, I guess, on the radio, because you can't, picture's worth 1,000 words kind of thing. So he's got a lot of people that, oh, listen to this guy. What do you make fun of him for? Only because, this is like a guy talking about race cars, and he's like, yeah, well, look at the paint job on this thing. You like it? It's cool, huh? Dude, I'm buying it for the horsepower, not for the paint job. I mean, can I just hit the throttle and take off and go vroom and pick up all the hot chicks in my new car? Because, girls are like, yeah, how much is the horsepower in this thing? They're like, is this going to hurt my nails? Like, is the steering wheel, like, can you put something fuzzy on the steering wheel? Make the steering wheel fuzzy, could you, please? Aren't you being kind of mean? It's like a hate crime if they don't have, like, cup holders, Who the fucking Nazis building these goddamn... That's the funny thing, there's really a different culture, isn't there? I mean, here we're like nanny state plus. We don't do nothing unless it's super, super, super safe. And then we just, the people that are smoking cigarettes through their masks, you got to wonder. So we're just following orders, good Nazis. Look at this thing here. I do think we're going to take this out by the end of the week here on dollar CAD. And of course, all the dollars, pairs, and we're done. Gold's cooked. I'll show you why. Here's my argument for gold's had it. We're not going to 3,000 and all that bullshit. So here's the daily. Let me just do the recap of the monthly. Here's the daily. I think we definitely could come back to the starting gate down here at some point. But just look at the daily no-nonsense trades here. We got this. This is also a $100 yard line on gold. Now, it's probably tough for people, and I'm sure that people that were selling, they sold gold as we pop into this fresh territory up here. I don't know if anybody was doing this trade. I'm not a gold trader, but I can see my trade on here, my technique. If you're selling here, which would be quite amazing, exciting trade, You're selling new highs like this. You're like, oh, dude, are you kidding me? I'm selling gold in this whole window up here in $100 window. I mean, this is $2,100 for gold up here at this very tippy top. And this is when I was hearing, actually, this right here, people are saying they're buying gold. So in the monthly context, look at this thing. Are you really buying gold up here? I mean, this is just like, this is like Apple stock. These are ridiculous. This is just, people have lost their minds, man. You're seeing the final toilet paper situation happening here now. Well, they're printing all that money and the ads for gold and oh my lordy lord, just nuts, right? And if you looked at this chart here, you'd say, wow, that let's sell. But now this is the framing distortion, because if I take it and zoom out and take it the whole context here, where we've ever been, now you say, wow, dude, this is amazing. This is the all-time high, and this is a couple years ago. So if you were to be bold enough to stand in front of this market and sell into historical highs, let's drill down on this event. How you would have traded this, and it wouldn't have mattered anything about any kind of Fibonacci, because you would just sell new highs and you could see the breakout, and we're just going to ignore the whole chart here, except for what we're worried about, making $100 in gold, $100 swings in the price of gold. Not $100, you can make more than 100, but I'm talking about the prices. So we never hit this amazing. We're coming right back to the breakout point now. In the logic of the monthly trader, you should be buying now. Breakout confirmation, we pull back at the breakout point, as if we just got into the trade and we've never experienced the money that we would have been up. Had we bought at this breakout point, we would have been up on that trade. And now would our feelings be different? I'd say you could not avoid that. If you've never endured punishment financially, you couldn't endure this trade, because you'd be like, actually, see, you're actually above that. You have not pulled back. And unless you stretch the scale, a lot of these people would say, oh, look, we're pulling back. Yeah, but not yet. And is the guy that sold this, instead of buying it, is he up or down on the trade right now? And that's a whole different world, see, because you could make money trading and just not make money and just be done for the day, and just always make money in the morning or trade the London Open, go back to sleep. And you get good trading. That's the only trade you need to do all day. You don't have to keep trading, see. That's why you could trade the demo to pacify yourself until you can go back to the real account. So now that I've locked in this historical breakout, and look how it went out just a little bit higher the month before that, and then totally collapsed, and you kind of have to hold in your mind's eye that, trust me, if you bought gold here at 1900, you finally got back to break even. Another reason why the market rotates there, I think, is that this is the fair value break even points and stuff. Now, just from this is going to be the widest I can go. Here's monthly. Now I'm going to go to the weekly. Oh, that's 4 hour. That's not going to work. Actually, here's the weekly. And we know this is a historical breakout point. We've already made our money, right? If we sold new highs in gold, theoretically, and by proof, if you started selling here and you sold for 2 weeks, you also sold, in my system, you're getting filled in your limits. You don't think you're in short enough gold, so you sell at the market, because at the end of the week it's up. You're selling high. Are you not selling high? You sold here and you sold here, because every week it's up. You only sell if it's going up. It's contrarian entry. You are up on this trade If you waited another week, that would be profitable, right? Because that's the exit. So if you sold here, no stop. I don't know if you have a stop. I guess you need a stop because you can't short it without a stop. And you waited a week, or maybe you clever enough to see this as a supply zone. There's inventory at new lows, and that's why you see this huge rejection on the wick only at the end of the week. So that would be this is also a great scalp trade. You could have a buy. This doesn't happen very often. Like right now, you got buy limits here, right? If you're any kind of person that wants to make money from buy low, sell high, you logically would start buying here, but you'd buy more here and you'd buy more as here. If you're a trend trader, you're saying, if you think this is a head, this is your shoulder, you're short right now. There's somebody in that trade. They're waiting to get out maybe here where I'm looking to get in and go long. Of course. It'd be about the size of the trade. How can anybody disagree with the trade? Because it's how long are you in the trade? Somebody asked me, I think seriously the most question you have to ask yourself is, how long do I want to be in this trade? This may be the most brilliant gold trade in the world right now that you sold here back during Corona-rama and all the drama and all the dollar and all the money printing and all the supposed debt and all the trillions of this and that. And because the fundamental view, gold should go to 5,000 if so imagine Biden wins, right? Gold should be at 10,000 then, right? And what is driving this? If Bank of America is saying that gold's going to 3,000, or even Bank of America says, which other people are saying, we found the most outlandish predictions by the cynical argument is that Bank of America puts that ad out to trap people in the trade because they know the goobers are going to jump on. And if you have a Bank of America account, you're going to say, yeah, put me in that gold fund, And of course, the disclaimer is going to make it so Bank of America can't be sued later on because they've got all that written in now, especially after all that Frank fucks Dodd shit. And after all that, once you do that, once you get the mask thing going, there'll be masks on and off now forever. You know what I mean? It's going to be a backup plan for bozos. It's a bozo backup plan. It's like, got to have airbags, got to have a third light. It wasn't enough. Okay, isn't it say something about the public when you have to have shiny things to make them save their lives? You got to have this third brake light on the back of your car. I don't know if they do that in Europe, but here apparently we can't see that the object in front of us is getting bigger. Maybe there's too many old people. Biden's driving. Does Biden allow to drive? And so, you need 3 taillights now? How about 5? One of them could burn out. You really can't tell the person in front of you is getting bigger. You need that to fucking stop your car. Like, even if you don't have brake lights, dude, I can see you're getting bigger. Now, I get the fact that I'm on my phone and I'm trading while driving, and I might need, like, some kind of, like, little flashing thing, like an idiot light, like, wait a minute, look at the oil lights on here. What's going on here, people? But boy, we got soft, didn't we? I don't know. I just say when I go out, I can't get coffee. Can't see a barista's ass. It's a crime. Why else would I go to Starbucks? Your coffee sucks. I go for there to gawk at the baristas, and they've got free Wi-Fi. Who are we kidding? To talk with people that are just boring. So that my coffee clutch exploded there. And I'd hang out with these people that were just so dialed into their lifestyle, and it kind of was fun because I thought if they only knew that I'm sitting there scalping on my tablet the market, and my blood pressure's, I mean, I'm a couple times I'm sitting there chatting and I'm looking at my tablet when it was working, and I said, I can't believe I'm scalping the NFP here while these people are just, I'm like freaking out. Like, I'm so big. I just wrote some double click scripts that are like going to launch in and come in with these super deep, like, and I'm seeing the market tank, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is way bigger trade than I ever wanted to be in, but I thought there's no way they could spike the market. Oh yeah, so them, market's down big. And I'm in this trade and I'm like, it's gonna retrace. And it did, and I was out and I go, whew. And I just thought, man, that's just so awkward. I mean, it's not a job where they're paying you $15 an hour and it's steady income. I come home, I'm just gonna warm up some leftovers, watch my favorite TV show, go to sleep. No, that's a routine that's very smooth, and I guess that's the no nonsense appeal. Is look at the daily charts, and then they make a decision. What are y'all pissed off about? Just because it's tough to watch, it's like watching somebody. You ever watch somebody try to do something, you know how to do it, and you're watching them struggle, and you think, well, this is a learning experience for me to, like, it's kind of it makes you grow the muscles of patience or the muscles of watching somebody fuck something up and realizing that you're learning how to endure that, right? The zen of watching somebody fuck something up, you know how to do better. And want to free them from holding on to these beliefs that are emotionally based, I suppose, in the markets. You have to be detached, You can't take it to heart. Like, this is the betrayal thing, They're hunting my stops. Damn the broker. I mean, and when the RSI didn't work out, the 14 period RSI didn't work out for ICT, and he was like, well, this divergence thing, fuck that. I'm sure there's divergences out there that I'm sure that now somebody's going to claim you're cherry picking, but this is when you have to realize that your algorithm is only good on certain time frames. So it may look perfect on the 3 hour chart. On the 8 hour chart, there's no signal, but on the 3 hour chart, if you've ever done these scans, or back tested, you go, God, this thing just nailed it. And this one, man, that one algorithm on that one, just amazing, I was watching Ryan Brown do that. He had this thing he was swing trading. He built a robot that swung trade, and it was killing it. And I thought, yeah, dude, or it was a breakout thing. I go, yeah, but dude, once the market changes phase and goes into I guess a chaotic run where it just keeps moving, and you're like, holy shit, I don't have a trade plan for that. Now, if you had like a 1 hour turtle trading system where you just keep buying new highs, and you're like, dude, I would never think about selling high. I buy high and I sell higher, right? That's the other direction you go. You buy high, you sell higher. You're taking profits when I say you're selling higher. Or are you situated so that you have wide stops, you're able to endure a giant spike to the north, and you're going to wait till it goes south, and then you can cash out? That's the other trade. So all these trades go simultaneously happening, and I'm sure that the really huge institutions probably are trading once a year, once every 6 months, once a quarter. And this is why ICT is like, well, you can see the institutional money here. I don't even know if that's they say, well, what's moving the market? What's driving the market? The really big money, this is the. What if the big money is hedged against the big money? then you're going to see a dead market, right? If there's no drama, if there's no corona, if there's no riots, I mean, the riots don't. Oh, this is another fundamental argument why I think the market's done is that Trump's going to win, and when he wins, and there could be some kind of contest legally against him winning because they didn't like when he won the last time because he's an exception that they didn't think about. Just like these governors never thought about, well, what if of course, the governors are afraid they're going to lose. They don't want to be accused of murder. So they're not going to be anti-lockdown. They're going to be like, oh, safety at all costs. I know, there's a threshold for that. I mean, the flu season doesn't exist. People have just been conned to bits, and people say, oh, no, you could really die from it. Yeah, I know you could die of car crashes, but you're getting in your car every day, dumb shit. And there's way more car deaths. In fact, fatalities are up since Corona, right? Because people are doing like 140 miles an hour and shit. Or they just forgot how to fucking drive because they've been in lockdown. People aren't good at adapting. They like the routine. Yeah, I guess I'm about ready to sign up for a prop firm. I kind of want to do the prop thing, and I want to go there physically, see, but the mask kind of fucked it up. I'm not wearing a mask to trade at a prop firm to show up. Now you might trade at home at a prop firm. I guess you could just trade at home. But that ruins it. I want to sit there and fucking crack jokes and go, who the fuck is this guy that just came in? I want to gossip. I want to have some fun at work. I don't fucking sit. People say don't gossip. I'm like, dude, then just kill me now. The whole world's a gossip. What do you think news is, dumb shit? People are so fucking hilarious. And if you're so desperate for a fucking riot because you're going to say somebody's racist, you got your head. You're the fucking racist fucker. Jesus Christ, dude. Stop it with the racism. What a fucking tool. What an item to throw out there. What a ball to throw out there. It's such a joke. People are racist against their own selves, The idea that race would even matter, that doesn't matter in trading. It's so funny that I don't see anybody promoting forex as the most anti-racist fucking employment in the world. You're by your fucking self at home. You fucking trade that shit, bitch. Where's all the promotion for the most anti-racist employment in the world? Is you making a decision. Is anybody making you make that decision? You don't even need a fucking mask. You can't beat how it just turns out that is the ultimate gig now. Is being on the internet. I don't even think lockdowns could exist without the internet. It was an obvious path of least resistance choice. If you believe in the vacuum on this price chart, the path of least resistance, until it's not. It's filled. It's done. Put a fork in it. Tesla stock is out of control. Look at Tesla. These are tech firms. Dude, tech is gone. It's saturated. That was wave 3. You just saw wave 3 in Elliott Wave. You just saw wave 3 in stocks. Wave 4 is consolidation. And my prediction is, if anybody's still watching this video years from now, they'd be like, dude, that guy nailed it. Yeah. I would say I'm calling for 5 years of consolidation. Wave 4 could be 10 years. 10 years of consolidation. Dude, you can't hit a higher watermark than that. You have a non-swamp, I'm just going to use the buzzwords, old school swamp. I mean, don't forget, Trump is running on term limitations. You can't have a fucking ass shit fucking moron in Congress for 40 fucking years. Dude, they live in a fucking bubble of bullshit. They push papers around, they blow money. They have no fiscal responsibility. They're fucking morons, fiscally. All the liberals are fiscal morons. All artists are fiscal. How does a guy who sells 1 million records file bankruptcy? What the fuck did you do? You're an artist. You're not a fucking Republican. And I'm not Republican for the sake of, this thing about abortion. Dude, you got property rights over your own body. Republicans got their head up their ass. Everybody has their head up their ass on something. You can't claim property rights and not own your own body. If you're going to tie yourself, if you're going to wrap yourself, you cloak yourself in religion, which the Republicans do, that's the most illogical fucking stance in the world is religion. So I'm with Ayn Rand on that. I mean, I'm just an objectivist. You can't tell me this praying and all that bullshit, and I think praying works, Rush Limbaugh, I think praying works. You're fucking retarded. You think praying works? Dude, trust me, the universe doesn't know you exist. Neither does the market. There's nothing, the market is not out to get you. You know, I'm an artist. I could do art all day long, but I got to pay the rent. Unless I'm selling the art, and I don't usually sell my art. I've done a lot of art. I don't think I could sell it. That's how fucking woke I am about my own art. I don't. I say, to me, it's just like a little. I guess music's different because you can print it, right? But if you do a painting, it's one of a kind. Like you could write a song, and that's different. And that's why these musicians make way more money than an artist, than a painter. Because you just fucking cut and paste that fucking song, and then the artists are whining about, oh, nobody's, dude, you still went on tour. Yeah, not everybody's gonna be Steely Dan, and even that people are benevolent enough to donate. Like the idea that, so this is the woke world of liberalism that if everybody just got along, yeah, no shit, but they don't. Because some people are greedy in the sense that they just want to loot. They're like, well, some guy's writing an article, there's ethical looting. I mean, are you fucking serious? It's clickbait. This is flat earth shit, dude. This is all a show. There's no fucking way. You ain't coming over here. You're gonna have a fucking problem. You come over here and fuck with me. Everybody has that. Everybody knows that reality. That's always there. And besides, if it was that bad, if these store owners gave a fuck, but they don't, they're corporate owned shit. You think Starbucks fucking people give a fuck? These poor fucking people down at Starbucks that work there, like, dude, they're in hell too. They're like, we work here. Don't want to talk about it. We work here. I know we live in a fucking, supposedly on the surface, the facade is that it's private. No. You got a license to practice coffee. We'll take your license away if you don't we'll do what we tell you to do. You're not free. You don't own your home. Nobody owns anything. You don't pay your taxes. Bye-bye. I've got legal edicts. I got executive orders. Fuck the law. I just made an executive order. I'm going to run you. And then these people paint themselves into a corner. They can't make another decision. They don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to look bad. I don't think the Chinese actually... Okay, so I think that people are misreading the Chinese. I don't think they tried to hurt the world with this virus. I think they're so incompetent. Don't forget they're communists. So there's another thing that's so funny. The Republicans would say, or these whatever conservative people would say, or the patriots, whatever you say it, snipers, white supremacists, they're going to say, well, dude, these Chinese are out to get us, can't you see? You know what? Communism just is not a good system, can't you see? Because they can't even manage a virus. Why isn't it that argument's not made? No, the argument is, oh, they're out to get us. Okay, you either think that people are just... So I think a lot of this is that you're looking at children, I mean, the guy who's running Portland is like a kid. He's a pajama boy. He's just a kid. Well, if I do this and do that, and I really care about people, can't they see I care about them? As they throw flames into his house, they're like, you're a pussy. We don't respect that. They have way more respect for Trump and authority. Now, this is the Republican. If Nixon was in office, it would be all over. National Guard would be over the fucking thing. If Nixon was running it was a Republican that was... Now, this is the other really bizarre thing. Nixon was a liberal, fiscally, moronic fiscal liberal. It was weird because he had price controls. He did there was gas lines and shit. Well, what I'll do is I'll freeze the price of lumber at $1.40. How'd that work out? Price controls. That was the first time gold got a little freaked out. See, then the gold thing with Nixon. You got to look at that fundamentally. What's going on here with gold? Is this organic buying from the uh, the truthers? There's so many teams to be on. Who could keep track? And it is crazy. And look at all the like I said, Bitcoin is bizarre because it's 24-hour market. It is the ultimate liquid freedom financially. I mean, I could transfer Bitcoin at any moment right here, at any point in the day. There's no restrictions on commerce. Like I haven't been over Europe very much, but when I was there and I wanted to exchange, I wanted to get some lira because I was in Italy. And that's all I needed to see. I didn't need to go back to Europe after that. I go, I get it. I go, what's going on here? And I loved it, but good food. But wow, really your bank's closed because it's fucking, dude, it's 1 in the afternoon. The bank's closed and you go get gas and the gas station's closed. And there's rolling blackouts. Like, um, can I go home now? Like, I mean, at that point, this is like 1970. I'm like, dude, um, that's toilet paper? Like, I was over there like, what happened here? It was bizarre. And I guess this is the thing, Americans, we got wide open spaces here. Downtown Italy, your storefront's like 1 meter wide. You can't even social distance. No wonder there's people getting sick. What the fuck? You just see the stores downtown. You get like, yeah, that's your store. You got to back out of the store. You can't turn around and walk out. There's no place to turn around. Maybe I was in the bad part of town, but man, look at the world now. Okay, it's almost 3 a.m. We're for London Open here. Go dollar, go. And what's your timeline for these trades? How long do you want to expose yourself to these trades? Now, the day trading idea just seems so appealing. At the end of the day, you're over. Now, this is when I traded soybeans, and I thought I'll be a day trader. I'll trade the grain market because the cheapest data feed you could get was Chicago Board Trade. I mean, the exchange fees. And that's all gone. The idea of people sitting on the floor yelling at each other, that's all gone. Can you imagine that with Corona? The trading pits? So you were already prepped for this world. And I know that seems like, okay, so this girl keeps telling me, what is your problem with the mask? Oh, like, it's like, oh, what you don't want to, what do you think? You think your goatee looks that good, you don't want to cover it up. Yeah, well, no, it's not that. Every time I put a mask on, I'm like, holy shit, I'm wearing a mask. I kind of hardly, it's not that I can't breathe, but why should I be breathing like this? I'm not sick. And I don't care if I fucking get sick. I'm over it. In fact, if lightning struck me dead in the next 45 milliseconds, I'd be like, thank God it's over. But I'm just too shy to commit suicide like my friend. That's a harsh move. I mean that is that is that is like really a trade that you can't undo. But look at the amount of people that are committing suicide now, or they'd say there's all this cultural shift. Yeah, because relationships, there's people getting divorced now because they're like, dude, I didn't know you were such an asshole. Now I've been with you all day long. You're just the biggest asshole I've ever known. I can't. And then, not to mention, what if your fucking wife is a liberal? What's the chance of that? And you're conservative and you're fucking home with each other and you don't agree on what you're going to teach the kids and the homeschooling. And you've just totally. So in a way, Americans are flexible, resilient, and out of their fucking mind. We're Europeans. Yeah, I think they're the same, but it's a different world over there, and I wouldn't base any trades on the behavior. Now, people will drill down. Well, you don't understand what's going on over there. I'm taking this trade because the New Zealanders, they did another lockdown. So is that going to change your New Zealand trade because 4 people got sick in the same house? I mean, now this is retardation. Take it to a new level. I don't know if anybody saw my video that was off topic about when they had this massacre at the Muslim, some mosque or some kind of bullshit where some shooter films this rampage and then this girl No offense. We all love girls, but don't run a country, please. Unless you're Margaret Thatcher. So the exception that proves the rule. But this. So she come up there and she's like, well, can we just hug our way out of this thing? Get the fuck out of here, you moron! And she's banning videos if you're caught with this, if you do that. Well, I know a girl from New Zealand, so she told as soon as I talked to her, I said I got to give her a break. She's socialist. She thinks, well, can't. Where's our next check? When are we gonna get some more money? That $1,200 was great. Now what? And these fuckers in Australia that are like, oh, Trump, Orange Man bad. And this piece of shit daddy of this guy that gets killed in Wisconsin. Are you fucking kidding me? Piece of shit daddy says something about, do you like rutabagas or something? I mean, dude, this is like carnival-esque. The next 2 months to me is precious carnival time. I love elections. Only every 4 years the Black Lives Matter dumb shit's coming out of the woodwork. Leaning on color for some stupid, bratty reason to loot somebody? What the fuck? You gotta be kidding me. Where in the fuck is Charles Bronson. Death Wish 9. Starring Lee Ritenour on AR-15. I told the drummer, I told the keyboard player in the band, Lee Ritenour, killed two people, wounded one. He's really? I'm just kidding. Leo Rittenhouser. Just people are just so quick. And so the Twitter thing is this clickbaitish or this headline-ish thing. And amazing. And people will say, well, this is the funniest thing really to date, beyond Gartley patterns, is that the robots is supposedly, they used to call them neuronuts. I haven't heard that in a while. I guess I haven't signed up for the NeuroNet newsletter. I'm sure it still exists. But somehow your algo is built around capturing phrases and words and saying, well, if this tweet comes in from the president, we should go along the market based on what we think that's going to do because of the current dictionary people are using, which are changing the words a little bit. Orwellian style, let's just change the definition of words. We don't have to change anything. It's just kind of like coming through the back door and just change the definitions of words. And stuff goes in and out of fashion, They're not colored people. They're people of color. I mean, this kind of, we're going to change the name of our baseball team. I mean, you're kidding now, right? You really think that if you say, I went short the market as opposed to I sold the market, somehow that trade makes different amount of money? You're gonna explain that to me again, because you got fucking out of your mind. You are seriously, like, you don't have a mind. You're just full of fucking catchphrases and buzzwords. But I guess if you built a mentorship around that, right? Let me show you how to live here, son. You see that tequila there? Don't touch that shit. Now, good old beer here. Get yourself a beer belly. Get yourself a fancy sports car. And get some of that 4-hour cream there. It's amazing. You can really pick how you want to live your life. I mean, you don't have to be on the internet, but I've been on the internet, so I guess I'm assuming people on YouTube are on the internet. So that's the thing when you talk internet talk, Now, people in the non-internet world, the unwoke or normies, are the people that are just like, they don't tune in to none of this stuff. And if you started talking to them, be like, slow down, buddy. I don't even know what KFC means. That's Kentucky Fried Chicken, actually. So you gotta keep up on the latest memes, and I guess that's a game because we're so wealthy and we're so bored that we have time to riot and entertain bullshit, right? So that just shows you how wealthy the whole world is. There's protests all over the world. Everybody's whining and pissing and moaning. Who's living their fucking life? And the older you get, you realize there's only so much time left. Do you want to spend it here or there? And what is the point of life, and why was anybody born in the first place? Always come down to that horrifying reality. Like, what are we doing here? You know, what in the fuck? Is this somebody's sick joke? God must be the devil. He's sitting back, arms folded. Look at this shit I created. Check this shit. Watch this one. And the climate change morons. Are you fucking really think the world's stable? See that in that Trump he's bringing chaos. No, I'm sorry, chaos is the world, dumb shit. What do you think a hurricane is? Well, that's because of global warming. No, I'm sorry. What do you think? Volcanoes were here before. Well, volcanoes, let me explain this. Climate change causes the core to get hot and makes more volcanoes. Can't you? So what? Well, then the ultimate solution is kill yourself, because then you can save the planet. Okay, then shut the fuck up. So that should just wrap that up in a bow. Put a bow on top, like ABL says. Yeah, wrap that up. 3 o'clock in the morning's coming. Brace yourself. It's the London Open. So this is the moment of truth for most markets as you come into Europe. Stocks, dude, I'm telling you, when I heard, so I've been shorting stocks, I guess, by going long the dollar. And the argument there is that when people sell their stocks, they pay them in dollars, so there's a demand for dollars, supply and demand argument, which I heard said, and I think there's a little lag there, but there's derivatives involved, but you could make that argument. And even if you did make that argument, proved it to be so, would you look at the dollar index to short the pound? No, because I would just look at the dollar index and think, what's the trade on the dollar index? Not a great trade. It looks like you're trading New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, because it's just not moving. It doesn't move enough. But the pound, I would just take the trade on the pound. But every time I've ever tried to engineer the trade based on another currency, like, look, the dollar CAD's a buy, therefore I should sell the pound. Can't do it, because maybe at the end of the day, that trade was right, but if you're looking at the 4-hour charts, they're not in sync, because we're waiting for the other market to open. Right? These fundamentals come and go is being true because the rectification is when the other markets are open. Yeah, maybe it's going to resolve the liquidity that's been missing overnight. So a lot of the moves you see are just, and this is the, God, what is ICT's got so many buzzwords, he calls it the, oh God, it's so cute. I got to do a thing in this video, but I want to do this video separate talking about it in case he deletes the next one. Because when you see him go to the charts, you got to fucking, I mean, empowered trading blows them out of the water as far as, at least they're keeping it just to Gartleys and bullshit like that. Although empowered trading, I went and looked at it the other day, and they got a guy who's a pretty articulate, he doesn't show his face. He goes through the trades and he actually says, okay, we're going to scale into this thing. We got this, we got the scalp, we got the midterm, we got the long-term trade. They've definitely improved it there, you know. But even at that, I'm not going to join that. I'm not going to do that because I just found my own path. I suppose I just decided I would just trade on the MT4 platform, which is, it's the car I'm driving, let's say in the race, this is the chassis, although my car with MT4, it can go from off-road to superhighway. I can have a script with an 80 pip stop. That's my limit. I'm not going to put, like, if I got to put a 40 pip stop, 80 pip stop, I'm not putting a 150 pip stop on a trade because I'm going to make hopefully 20 pips on the way to that. Even if I put a non-directional breakout hedge on during a doji when the market's dead and I just put a bracketed trade on, or at least in my mind, I can see those trades unfolding, and I'm going to pick a direction out of that breakout. I'm going to have more than one ticket in so that, okay, I made money on the scalp and it's okay that I didn't make the whole trade. I only made 20% when I could have made 40%. I only made whatever, $40. I could have made $1,000. Only made 500. I could have made 3,000. It's okay because now I just freed up margin. I can go trade something else. All these decisions are not algorithmic decisions. I mean, you just have to say, you know, you can make 80 pips. You've done it before. Let's hunt down 80 pip trades. Like, I mean, the focus is going to change if you're a person that's trading every day. It changed my focus because I said, well, this may be a great pattern, but it's a 180 pip stop. You would need to trade this on the weekly. I'm not up for that. Let's go to the 4-hour charts. Let's trade auctions on the 4-hour. Let's look for little vacuums that could potentially fill. We'll put buy limits in. Put them in all day long. Put them in for 8 hours. Put them in for 12 hours. If they hit them, they hit them. If they don't, they don't. You could undertrade the account. You could overtrade the account. You could overanalyze it. You could underanalyze it. There's so many. It's just like anything else. But they say the most amazing thing about trading is that it reveals just how much of a pussy you really are. I mean, it's going to, or how bold you are, how overly arrogant you are, right? It would be, and how it backfires that the more you know you don't know. The more you know, the more false sense of confidence you'd have. The funniest thing about the no-nonsense thing, which I've probably said a million times, is this confirmation idea. I'm not going to put the trade on until we get to the price levels. I need to see the engulf. I need to see a hammer in unfair value at a certain price level for a certain amount of time for this move to go there to there. You know what? You should have already had some kind of trade on. Aren't you trying to be a untrader? You're looking for ideal setups and perfect entries and precision, ICT precision entries. I'm so precise. I can tell you within 1 pip where we're going. Who cares? If you're not in that trade, who cares? And if you're in that trade, you should be in for the biggest fucking amount of money you could possibly put in that trade. And if you get stopped out, do you re-enter? If you believe in the trade, you do. So what ICT is not saying, and nobody's going to tell you, because it would depend personally on how much punishment you could take, but would you re-enter 3 times at new lows? They keep stopping you out. You got a tight stop. And the argument is that you have a 20 pip stop to make 100 pips. They stop you out twice. Do you put on the trade again? Because you're going to make back the 20 pips and then some. So even though the ratio is, say, 1 to 8, you make 1 to 4. That's still good. It's still good. The ratio is so high. But you can't take that to the logic of I'll run 8 pip stops and get stopped out 100 times. No, because you can't fucking make that back. There's a practical stop, and there's an insane stop. You're not going to put an 8 pip stop on a standard lot and go, well, I know I'm getting stopped out, but when I'm right, I'm really right. I'm not doing that. You could lose $80, $80, $80, I guess. At some point, you're going to go, dude, let's put on a half of a standard lot, put on a 40 pip stop, and just walk away. Fuck it. It's a swing trade. I'm just going to be I'll just be in there. And so there's this girl, she's called, what's her name? British girl that's trading. Like she's trading like 3K, holds a trade for like a day. She claims this last video, the trading warrior girl. I subscribed to her thing. She goes, I cut my losses and got out of this trade. She goes, it's all kind of crazy. Euro's all up and down. Now, it's adorable that she found an entry point, and I assume she put a stop on it. Maybe she didn't get stopped out, but she just gave up on the whole idea of the trade. And I mean, this is like saying that you decided to play guitar, you bought the guitar, you brought it home, you played a couple strings, and it really wasn't in tune. You set it down, and you just didn't get re-involved in it, really. I don't know if I'm a guitarist. Yeah, I don't think you are. And I don't think you're a trader either, but yeah, it's great that you go through the exercise and the motions of trading, but I don't know if that's really trading. I'm just saying, no offense. She's cute, but Hannah Forex would blow her out of the water, I think. Because Hannah Forex has that amazing, like, Hannah Forex has the goal going to $5,000. I want the goal to go to $5,000 too. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. So I think gold's trapped up here. This is the weekly. Look at the daily trades on gold. Now that is the same threshold of entry. That is the yellow line here. Goes back to the monthlies. This is the historical high. You go crashing through. Now the trend traders on the daily. So here would be the trade for the no-nonsense traders. That's the only pullback available. It did not pull back to the breakout point. Don't forget, here's the breakout point. You buy here. You buy gold. Doji. Buy stop, sell stop, only filled on the long side. There's the breakout. It is a flag. I also heard ICT say flags and pennants. You know, you could sell a book on trading pennants and flags, and you could do that, actually. You could write a whole thing on how to trade a pennant and a flag, but he tried to do it, and he's like, oh, this doesn't work. But it does work, you know. Right? You just don't get a lot of setups. And, of course, if you bought here on the pennant and flag and then you put a stop in here and they stopped you out, you're going to tell me, yeah, it doesn't work. No, you had to get out up here. No, don't forget that this is the daily. You're up really hard. You sell 3 sells here at the market above here into sellers of land. This is the supply or whatever demand zone, trade blocks. All that stuff is living up here. You know, so you're selling here. You can't believe gold just hit 2,000, so you sell 2,000. You're hoping you get enough money, enough dry powder. You sell more the higher it goes. I know it sounds unbelievable. But how did this trade work out? It comes back now. Don't forget there are people that are willing buyers here. They're going to buy. Oh, this is the breakout. I'm going to buy breakout pullback. Ooh, that didn't work. Oof, that doesn't work. That fucking... See, that doesn't work either. Wait a minute. None of this works. And, of course, now if you're losing money during this phase where you're trying to find the best trading system, you're like, oh, Jesus, fuck, I can't even take anymore. I'm getting whipsawed, you know. They told me that even here they said, well, when it pulled, this is the breakout. So I was told, I studied a book. It said breakout, pull back. So what I did is I bought here because it pulled back, right? It even closed there. And I bought. And even RSI said buy, because RSI is based on close, said buy. So I bought gold, and it would have been a great trade, but I was really afraid of losing too much money, so I put a stop in here. I can see all the losing trades on here. And then, of course, what if I bought here with a wide stop, and the market went up, and I was like, oh, this is great, man. Gold is going to go. You know, Bank of America's right. Then it comes all the way back to here, and I'm like, fuck. In fact, I waited for confirmation because, you know, I studied ICT, and I waited for the market to come up, and we can kind of see this auction going in here. Here's the floor, right? And what is the fuel for that wick? I believe it's this, right? And you bought even more down here. I guess I'm calling out the winning trades now. And you scalp to this low, right? So there's all these trades happening around you, even though you're going to buy here when it comes back to here, but there's a whole giant inventory down here, gobbled up to the floor. People scalp. They don't even hold through this. But the really aggressive buyers bought this, they bought this, and they dumped out of that, right? So they knew their exit, that was their worst trade. And that's what kind of causes a little bit of pullback here. I think, you know, this guy, Dave Gibson, I was going to read his thing. I got time for, no, I was going to go through what he wrote. this big long thing. I do believe that there is inventory here in the warehouse of price. Satisfied, and that doesn't quite engulf. Does pretty good there. But now we're running out of volatility, and these swings are getting smaller and smaller. Now the daily chart. If you think that this bottom became a top, you'd be right. Would you take that trade? Would you have enough money? Because you probably want to put a stop here. If you really like that trade, and if you put a stop there, then when it gets to here, it's kind of not the best ratio. So what is the secret? The secret is to sell at the market, sell at the market, sell on a limit. Because this limit, you don't have to be there for that, and you probably wouldn't take that, or you have a limit here. See, here's a support. It became resistance. Bottoms become tops on the wicks. Because I'm on the daily, I'm assuming on the forward chart there's a nice double top. We don't need to drill down to that. We don't need to look for micro patterns inside the pattern to justify and wait to confirm a fucking trade. You're just you're just, oh, I gotta have paper towel, toilet paper. You're lucky you've got anything there with these fucking goobers. You still can't, it's unbelievable. There's still out of stock on stuff. If I was to trade, sell new highs in gold here on the daily, I don't, but this is obviously the sell window. You got sell limits all packed in here, and yeah, they don't fill you. Like, you could put the sell limits in here when the market's down here. I know it's hard to believe. You got buy limits down here. You're buying this chop down here. This is support. You got a triple bottom in closing prices. Yes, you're buying gold here. Yes, you're probably going to cash out here if you're this guy that's going to hold it for 2 days. Could you be short here and holding, hoping that it takes out this and keeps tanking? Yes, you could be that person too. In that case, you may have a target, and there's multiple targets. You could scale out all the way to here. Is it going to come back to here? Maybe. I'm definitely going to be buying. I mean, I can see my trade already because here's the lonely wick. I got buy limits below there all the way down. Buy more and more. Martingale in here. I'm going to buy just pant loads here. And this is probably where most people would buy, and it would be oversold, I'm sure. Now, how fast it gets there is another consideration, because what if it just goes bam? Well, then it's going to be harsher, and we're going to all kind of cash out here. We can already see the trade. If we start buying here and we get in, if it retraces to here, I'm going to get out. Now, it could retrace to there and then engulf, and then really go to Bank of America target all the way up. So you got to think what's practical, realistic. Now, it's kind of going to, this is wave 4 or this is consolidation right now, because it's starting to die out now. I'm sure people have drawn trend lines and they're like, can't you see what's going on? It broke out, pulled back. It's going to take off now. Right? It did this classic move where you got this trend line. Here was the triangle. We broke out, but I don't know. Is it trapping people? Like, how long are you holding the trade, And when you're just in one ticket, it's pretty tough, right? Because you could say, I'm long gold right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to hang in. I couldn't do it. Because if I saw this, I'd be so heartbroken that I didn't take something off the table there. Scale out of at least half of the position. So it seems to me that all I hear about these people trading is one ticket trade, one entry, trail your stop. Do people back test with multiple positions? I don't know. I don't think so. All this back testing people are doing are single positions, 2% risk. This is just harebrained shit. It's inconceivable. And then they're like, oh, yeah, because I'm going to tell you what. I don't care what system he has. Corona just blew it up. Like chaos, a real market. Chaos can happen. There could be a meteor hit. the planet. That's a real problem, you know. It's a real world problem. Hardware. So another reason why tech stocks are going to get hurt is because people are going to go back to planting seeds in their lawn. They don't trust the government. The government just blew themselves up with this corona, the masking. And this is just theater. It's like, who's to say that when there is no pandemic that I'm not walking around with fucking syphilis and I'm like spitting on you? When have people started sneezing? Honestly, maybe I don't get out much, but have you ever seen anybody sneeze on anybody ever in a fucking store in your fucking life? Now, I've seen people sneeze, but most people are going to not project it at you. This transfer, it's complete bullshit. You know what the transfer is? Go to the gas station, get some coffee. The lids are sitting out. Everybody's touching the same lids. Come on, people. Don't be retarded. It's not an airborne disease. You got to touch shit. People are touching shit. Go to the gas pump. You wash your hands after every gas pumping? No, I lick my hands actually to just build building my endurance, my corona ability. You know, this is what I'm after. I'm just pumping myself up, but for the big one. So this scalp's happening here is this long-term trading I'm talking about in this video, I guess. Now look at this bizarre thing. The euro versus the pound. This is just insane. You can't build. This is like what No Nonsense claims is his favorite currency to trade. I'm like, this is insane. Look, euro versus pound. But see, for me, it's easy. I would have bought this and I would have bought that, and I'd just be like, that's it. I'm buying. It's down. I'm buying. I'm not going to make any kind of... Look at this move on the euro pound. Are you kidding me? That's the weekly, by the way. Look at the monthly euro pound. You trading this? You're kidding, right? Show me your setup. What you see a flag on there? What the fuck is this fucking mess? Anyways. That's it. I'm going to go back to sleep.